Like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Long as I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. Sports coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Sports coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like Elf. I thank God every day I'm not a felt. Go to YouTube Live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your chain for the championship. Bucking on town, duck down. Falcons, pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy and you probably smell the crooked referees on Roger Goodell. Yeah, fucking like this and I'm a who that. Every day I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. It's the sports coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like this and I'm a who that. It's the sports coma, this is where we do that. You're
listening to the sports coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
Shout out to the Who That Nation, man. We in this thing. Welcome. Now rocking with the sports coma with Big Q and the guys. We'll be intense, entertaining, educating, and enlightening sport talk from your favorite sport family. I'm up in this thing. Shout out to the Who That Nation. Appreciate you guys for stopping by and being in the stream. Much love to the fam. Appreciate each and every last one of you guys for being in the stream. Much love to you and Yearns in the building. Please feel free to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. By all means, feel free to hit the share button. Remember, sharing is caring on the Sports Coma. Do your boy a favor and hit the share button. It helps out. So with that being said, this one called Saints Say No to Cesar Ruiz on the 5th-year option. Not really a surprise, and I thought they would kind of at least think about it, but Saints say no, baby. That's a wrap. And he becomes a free agent. So the Saints definitely already kind of looking at Andrews Pete and Cesar Ruiz as guys on the outside looking in after the season. And it kind of goes to show, because the reality is when Cesar Ruiz was drafted, we really didn't need Cesar Ruiz. And that's no disrespect to Cesar Ruiz. Wasn't a disrespect to that brother. You know, I think Coach Payton just didn't do a good job that year. We didn't really need the brother, you know. And now with Sean Payton getting on out the way, you see a lot of the people that Coach Payton picked is not getting out of the way with him. So, you know, so it's just one of them things we watched for years with Coach Payton take players at the top of the draft that we kind of questioned what are you doing, bro? What's the problem here? We really didn't need Cesar that year, and the Saints are kind of saying we can go in a different direction with him and Andrews Pete. So with the 4th-round draft pick will definitely serve in that regard. And plus, next year the Saints could definitely go back to the offensive line again. You know, so I'm not mad about that, man. I'm most certainly not mad about that. But anyway, shout out to the fam. Appreciate y'all being in the stream. Much love to the fam. Thank you so kindly for being here. Please feel free to hit the like button, like I said, and the share button. We up in this thing. We're gonna go over some stuff today, fam. I got a kind of a slam pack, jam pack show, sort of, kind of. I got a few interviews I'm gonna play. I'm gonna go over some articles, and then after that, I'm gonna skedaddle and get on out the way. So let me give a shout out to some of the Who Dat Nation, Big Ant. Shout out to you, fam. Appreciate you being in the stream. What's up, T. Scott's in the building. He said Ruiz is playing out of position anyway. Put him at center. He's a natural. Put McCoy at guard. The first game when James played the Packers, McCoy got hurt. Ruiz took over. Saints O-line dominated. They did. The only problem is the second game, it didn't look the same. When he got in there against Green Bay, you're right. But then that very next game, it was a whole nother story. So, maybe they just had an opportunity to prepare for him. The next team did the next week. But yes, that's one of them situations where you play to the player's strength as opposed to trying to turn him into something. And we've dealt with that for a while. It works sometimes it doesn't. You got to understand it's a difference. Not everybody could do that. Uncle Paulie says good riddance to him. Also, he really didn't fit in the Saints game plan, just like Trautman didn't work out either. Yeah, and I got a little something on that. So shout out to the fam. See all y'all in here. OG Jerry, good to see you. Dana, shout out to the Queens. Bronze Flat Power God, shout out to you. Who that to you, my friend? Appreciate you stopping by. It's Poppy 504 Pelicans Nola. Everybody, Sir Rogers, good to see you, sir. Kevin, shout out to you, Mr. Who that. All right, good to see you. Misdemeanor Crime, shout out to you, Queen. Purnell, I see you, fam. Appreciate you. EMAC in the building as well. Ruiz has been here for for 4 years now, no accolades, no Pro Bowl. He's below average. Playing out of position, had to learn. And let's just remember, I know it's easy just to go at him, but remember, it's an adjustment. Like, you come into here, and the Saints drafted the man as a center. And Sean Payton says, man, we're going to play him at center. Had all this, played all the stuff. All the interviews. That's why I love playing them here on the show, because they captured in the archives. And he said it, we're gonna play him at center. And I don't know what Peyton was thinking. I challenged him on that rhetoric the entire time period during the preseason, after the draft, during the preseason. And when they got into training camp, Sean Payton reneged and said, I know I won't see what McCoy could do. And I'm like, what? What are you talking about? See what McCoy can do at center. You know what McCoy can do at center. And then he played McCoy for several for practice periods, and then ultimately switched to Ruiz. And then Ruiz got like maybe two or three practices in, or like 2 or 3 days of practices. Then he got hurt, then he scrapped the whole thing. And then next thing you know, Ruiz been a full-time guard. That's on Peyton on that one, because you really didn't have to get rid of the guard that we had. Always forget the man name, man. The guard that we had, it's almost like they blamed him for the loss against the Minnesota Vikings that year. Y'all put it in the chat. Y'all know who I'm talking about, the guard. I always forget the guard's name, man, but he had back-to-back Pro Bowls when he was here. There you go. Thank you, David. For whatever reason, bro, I always forget Warford's name, man. I always forget him, man. Warford. There you go. Back-to-back Pro Bowls with Warford. That's right. Thank you, bro. Larry Warford. But back-to-back, and it's almost like Peyton put him in the doghouse. He ain't punish anybody else. All of them was stanking up the joint. All of them, except for Taysom Hill, was having a solid game on offense. Taysom was the only one getting it going. As a matter of fact, the last drive of the playoff matchup, that was Taysom Hill turning it up, and then they turned it to Drew, and then the guy, Drew turned, and then Drew fumbles it away, game over. But it all started with that, and see how those decisions impact us today. And that was some years ago, but it still impacts us today. So when you surrendering first-round draft picks and they not turning into nothing, the Saints opting out of on the years of them, say, I'm going to go in a different direction. I ain't willing to pay this guy almost $15 million to see what he can do. I don't think they're worth that. And they're right. He's not worth $15 million. He's not. Yeah, so it's not really a hard decision when it comes down to the money and where he's at. But the thing is, what makes it kind of stick out is the fact that Marcus Davenport just took a beeline to Minnesota. He was a bust, and now you turning over Ruiz for next year. And there is a small chance that he hits free agency, he can come back on a cheaper deal, but don't count on it. So it's a part of the process, and they just have to do a little bit better. That's all you can do is kind of pay a little bit extra attention to this thing. Yeah. That's right. Pat Queens too. Thank you, Mocha. Shout out to you, my brother. Appreciate you. Yeah. A lot of that happens, bro. Like when they get to that 5th year and it's elevated, it's the last year of the deal for a 1st-round draft pick, and that 5th year is severely elevated. And then what ended up occurring is they be like, man, I ain't paying how much. The next thing you know, all right, it's already gone. What's up, Pammy? What's up, Queen? I don't think I messed up anybody. I forgot one person's name, Larry Warford. I don't think I messed up anybody's name yet. I shout out to you, Wallace. What's up, brother? Shout out to you, man. Yoshi, shout out to you, man. Appreciate y'all. Quavadius, my brother Randolph in the building. Shout out to you, bro. Brother Eric's in the stream. What's up, brother Eric? Good to see you, fam, as well. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and the offensive lineman that we picked up should fit the bill. And then, of course, we'll look into the free agency period. I mean, the draft next year when we come around. So the Saints ain't surrender too much talent for next year so we can come back around and make some picks. So shout out to the fam, Kevin Conley. What's up, brother? Shout out to you. Good to see y'all. Y'all smash the like button for me. Bambino 1895. Shout out to you. Appreciate you being in the stream as well. Hit the like button. If you're not a subscriber, smash the subscribe button. Big ups to all the family members. We had quite a surge in subscribership over the past weekend. Shout out to the fam. For the new family members that's chiming in this thing. Ramsey, I see you, fam. Shout out to you. Much love to you, brother Jermaine. I see you, fam. Appreciate you. Miss Demina says, I knew DA would draft the QB. He has to have somebody to put in front. At least for 1 year. Yes. All right. Dana says linebacker, guard, and tight end is what we need. Yeah, a lot of that be filled as we move forward into free agency. Still free agents out there. I showed some yesterday on the stream who's available. Quite a few inexpensive tight ends that are available. Linebackers as well. Like I said, if you're looking for somebody, I still think it's something with the Foster Monroe thing. I still feel something's going on with the Foster Monroe thing. I really do. I think Foster Monroe is lurking about here some kind of way, and that's why the Saints didn't go in and get them an experienced tight end yet, because they could have had one in here. They just didn't. I think Foster Monroe fits in the plan some kind of way, so we just have to wait and see. All right, so anyway, Eric, Emax saying linebacker spot seems to be a real spot. Yeah, don't rest assured the Saints will bring in some veteran linebacker to compete in the room. Now, I do like some of these young linebackers, the kid from Orjay, the guy from Vanderbilt, and Nick Anderson from Tulane. Interesting, but you always want to have a veteran in the mix, and we'll see what the Saints could do. Remember, last year, Eric Wilson was the dude. He's under contract with Green Bay. Quan Alexander is a free agent. He worked for $1.2 million last year. Could he be coming? Could they look at him? The imagination, the money is right. He knows your system. Could he be a guy that the Saints go back to? I would love to see him here. He played 16 games last year, started 10 games, if you can believe that. Had to look that up, found out that was the truth. So it was pretty cool, man. Yeah, DeMarco Jackson could be ready. We'll see, bro. I mean, it's a lot to say about that because he hadn't played last year. It's basically a rookie year for him. They shut him down last year. But anyway, fam, let me start the broadcast off by playing some Cam Jordan. We'll play a little Cam Jordan. Cam spoke about it, about some of the free agency moves that was happening. He even spoke about some of the stuff that occurred with some of the teammates leaving to other places. So let's y'all put one in the chat if y'all can hear. We're gonna start the broadcast off with Cam Jordan talking about about what his thoughts on free agency.
There's this need for defensive tackles. As David Onyemata went to Atlanta, Shai Tuttle went to Carolina, and obviously Ryan's in Atlanta as well. What was your reaction when you saw that happen? Have you talked to David? Have you talked to Shai at all?
Of course, I've talked to my traitorous friends. Like it's cool. We drafted him, or in Shai's case, he wasn't drafted, which should endear him even more to us. Like we took him when nobody else was looking at him. But no, I'm overly happy for them. The fact that, David I've been playing with for 8 years. It's been a long time. And it's hard to replace somebody like him. Hence my mock drafts and drafting like 4 or 5 D tackles each time, because it's so hard to replace a guy like him. You lose, Shy Tuttle. You've got a guy like Kentavious Street that goes out there. D tackles sort of, bring that defensive line together. We have return of Malcolm Roach. Hopefully the resurgence of Albert Huggins. But Tano and my young gun, young Peyton Turner, will have to slide down to that 3 technique on third down situation. Maybe I will. I don't know, but just know that I'm feeling that that's somewhere we can strengthen our team, which brings me back to maybe mythical game sometime soon brings in that defensive line play to the game.
Gotcha. And you mentioned Peyton. I think a lot of people are kind of eagerly anticipating seeing him more, right?
Right.
I've seen him in there. I know he's working. What do you expect from him this year? Because obviously with Marcus heading out to Minnesota, he's got to be able to contribute in some way. So what are your kind of expectations for him?
Man, I think, Marcus leaving to Minnesota, I think that could be a great play for Carl Granderson to step up, as well as Peyton Turner. The best ability is availability, as we all have seen over the years. And when Peyton Turner this last 2 years, we see glimpses, and then he's sort of been bitten by a little nagging injury here or there, and I'm just looking forward to more glimpses. You can see a glimpse, you can see the picture. If you can see the picture, you can understand what the painting's about. I'm trying to figure out exactly what the painting's about in game time, because I know the work that he's put in is not matching up to what his own expectations. Because he's grinding, he's trying to get right. And at the same time, he's also played 12 or 13 games over 2 years. You got to play a little bit more than that.
Gotcha, man. Well, I appreciate you taking the time. Enjoy the rest of your vacation, and I'll see you in a couple months here.
Absolutely. I should be back in a couple months, a month.
Yeah, if you ever do decide to come back to the States.
Man.
Stateside. Yeah, I'm back in action.
That's Jordan in the thing, man. And that came from WWL, to give him some credit there. But yeah, that's Cam, man. Always lighthearted as always, man. Just a big old kid, man. And Cam was talking about pretty much his thoughts on his team and moving forward. But we give Cam a lot to deal with on the line with 3 new starters in that thing. And of course, Colin Sanders, and you look at Nate Shepard, you got Brian Barisi, you add to it, and Isaiah Foskey with Carl Granderson. There's a lot of stuff going on in the Saints defensive line, not to mention the change at the defensive line, the coaching, all that's a part of it too. How that's going to look is all going to be determined moving forward as we get ready, because we're getting close in a couple of weeks. We'll have the rookie mini camps, which is so important because we'll have an opportunity for the new players and the new coaches to get together and kind of hash that thing out. So let's jump right into some of the stories, family, as you get into this one about Cesar Ruiz. Saints decide not to pick up the 5th-year option on Cesar Ruiz. He's now in the final year of his rookie contract. After this year is over, he will then become unrestricted. So the Saints did a wonderful job in deciding on that. So the Saints have elected not to pick up the 5th-year option on the rookie contract of guard Cesar Ruiz, according to Ian Rappaport of NFL Network. Not picking up the option means that Ruiz will be an unrestricted free agent at the end of the 2023-24 season. Now, he was a first-round pick, 24th overall out of Michigan in 2020. He appeared in 46 games over 3 seasons with 40 starts. He was the only New Orleans offensive player to start 17 contests in 2021. A center throughout college, he's been mostly at right guard for the Saints. Ruiz turns 24 in June, struggled in his first 2 years. He played his best football in year 3 under new offensive line coach Doug Marrone. And Ruiz was arguably the team's most consistent lineman in run blocking and pass protection before missing the last 3 games with a foot injury. Picking up the 5th-year option on Ruiz would have cost the Saints $14 million against the 24 cap. He'll count a little over $4 million against the cap in 23. And Sportrack.com estimates Ruiz's next deal will be an average of $10.3 million per year. So you can see why the Saints are damn sure ain't going to pick that up. Now, the teams could still negotiate a long-term deal with him during the year to prevent him from hitting free agency. If they don't, New Orleans faces the possibility of losing both starting guards, right, after this season. Left guard Pete is also in the final year of his contract. Versatile tackle guard James Hurst, an experienced starter at both inside and out. However, both Hurst and backup Kelvin Throckmorton are also in the last year of their respective contracts. New Orleans also drafted Old Dominion offensive lineman Nick Salvaderi with the first choice in the fourth round last weekend. To get Salvaderi, the Saints traded 2 later day 3 picks to move up to the 103rd overall selection. Now, he was primarily a right tackle in college, but is projected as a guard in the NFL. So when we start spanning ahead and start talking about what the Saints offensive line could be, then, you know, what are we looking at here? It's interesting because it really is interesting because if you see the Saints offensive line, right? Andrews Pete, let's say Andrews Pete's deal, restructured for a 1-year deal. He's right. The contracts, and I was looking at this a couple of days ago. I was like, man, the Saints, they might, you know, looking at who's behind them. We know James Hurst, stuff like that. But do you really let all these guys go? I know Andrews Pete looking like he could be out of here, but Cesar Ruiz could be worked on. It just don't want to pay him the $14 million. Who do you keep? That's the thing. So I don't think the Saints will lose all the offensive linemen. I think they'll make an attempt to try to keep some of these guys and work on some deals and get some deals done later on as the season goes to kind of look at things. So that would be totally, it kind of makes the Saints offensive line look real new if that's indeed the case. So we'll just have to watch and see what happens with Ruiz. I think the Saints could be interested at a cheaper deal, but not at no $14 million. So, you know, what do you guys think on that? That's a lot. That's a lot of money. Yeah, that's right. That's right, Slim. He waiting for him. That's all Peyton does now is just wait for the Saints to cut people so he can pick them up. Shout out to my brother KT. Shout out to you, brother. Good to see you in the chat. Much love. Yeah, it's strange, man. What's up, Tasha? Shout out to you. JT, much love. Yeah, it's interesting, man, to see how it all ferrets out. So anyway, let's move on to the next article right here. And this is from the Fishman. The Fishman, Adam Trautman, happy with the trade to the Broncos. And of course, there's more news coming out that Trautman facilitated this trade to get the hell out of Dodge. So I'm going to cover it in this article and talk about it in this thing. Shout out to Queen B. What's happening, baby? Good to see you. Shout out to you. Hope everything is darn well with you. Much love. Molly Mall, shout out to you. Good to see you. Trey, shout out to my brother Trey. That's brother Prime with the fish hands. That's what he called him. I call him the fish man, Trautman. And the thing is, it's really thing because he gets to talking and flapping away. And I want to kind of cover this article and what he said once he got going. This is another Peyton pick. I had the Ruiz thing, and this is Sean Payton's tight end. And this is what he had to say. He actually facilitated the trade. It wasn't the Saints saying, let's get this guy out of here. They were still believing in this guy. And he was the one that went up there and said, man, let's go. I won't be here no more. So check this out. Almost all players, regardless of the sport, are left with mixed feelings when their trade is difficult to leave home. And so many friends, he says, there could be a sense of betrayal, but at least you're wanted by someone else. There were no mixed feelings for tight end Adam Trautman when he was traded Saturday from the Saints to the Broncos. He was pumped about it. Yep. So what did old fish man say? He said, oh, yeah, absolutely. Trautman said Sunday in a phone interview with 9 News, I was actually hoping to get moved. This was initiated by me personally. I've been waiting for a little bit for something to materialize, and it was just happened. He said it just happened to be the Broncos, obviously, or it just happened to be the Broncos. Happened to be the guy that drafted you, and he's over there. So you, out of all the teams across the entire universe, the Broncos, who Peyton's the head coach of, is the team that facilitates the trade. Ain't nobody else want this guy. Now, remember, Peyton moved up into the 3rd round, extra picks to go and get Trautman. And then the Saints trade him out of here for a 6th round draft pick. So, if you don't have to be a math major or a guy with a advanced degree in advanced calculus to understand that, and them numbers is going backwards. I move up in the third to take you with a third round pick and then trade you out of here for a 6th round pick. Look at here, look at here. He says, really, why drafted out of Dayton by the Saints in the 3rd round of 2023's draft, the 6'5", 253-pound Trautman was a part-time starter as a rookie, then a full-time starter in 21 and 22. So why? He said, I feel like I was placed somewhat in the box. They put a limit on what I could contribute, and I felt like I could contribute a lot more. I was primarily used as a blocker. I thought I could do more, and I didn't want to get to the end of my career and think I could have done it, caught a ball a little bit more. Whatever the case was, the team I was playing for just didn't let me do it. I want a chance to prove I can do it because I believe I can, and I have in the past. Now, let me say this about Trautman, man. Listen, you are Denver Bronco now, and I'm going to say this, and this is the end of it. But the reason why the team didn't believe in you more is because you were out there missing blocks. You were out there dropping passes, and you didn't give them 100% of nothing that you had. You can't tell me you did. You're a quitter. That's what you did. You quit. Them people didn't give up on you. You gave up on them. The Saints went up and got you in the 3rd round, and you the one that let the people down. I sit up here and watch every game you played as a New Orleans Saints player, and you were subpar, to be honest, to keep it to $115. You're gonna sit up here and try to slam the Saints, talking about they kept you. They didn't keep you in the box. You kept yourself in the box. The Saints gave you several opportunities, several different times to be the starting tight end of this team. You failed. Nobody, the Saints didn't put you in the box and wrap your fingers and your hands up in rope and then told you to go out there and catch the football, did they? No, were the Saints at fault when you was out there dropping passes? Were the Saints at fault when you was running the wrong routes? Were the Saints at fault when you was, come on. No, the reason why, let me tell you something, Trautman. The reality is you let a guy, this is how bad you were for the Saints. Let me just clarify it like this. Let me put the big screen on. Trautman, listen, bro. Dude, this how bad you were. You got beat out by a man that was an undrafted wide receiver out of Oregon who was dead last in the wide receiver room, so they converted him to a tight end. This man, when he first came in, I'm talking about Juwan Johnson, was a wide receiver, undrafted wide receiver out of the University of Oregon that then converted over to a tight end in his 2nd year. And by his 3rd year, had took the position from Trautman, who was a tight end the whole time. So how are you sitting up here talking this craziness about the Saints putting you in the box? The Saints didn't put you in no box, man. You wasn't serious about what you was doing down here, and that's why the people gave it to you. That's why the people was making fun of you, because you earned it. They don't make fun of people that's handling their business, man. They don't do that. But this is what he told the people. I feel like I was placed somewhat in the box. They put a limit on what I could contribute, and I felt like I could contribute a lot more. I was primarily used as a blocker. I thought I could do more, and I didn't want to get to the end of my career and think I could have done it and caught a ball. You wasn't catching no balls. You wasn't doing none of that. That's the problem. How do you let an undrafted guy that switched positions? Think about it. You was a 3rd round draft pick. The Saints moved up there to go and get you. They went up there and got you, and then they were trying to give you the starting tight end position. You couldn't stay healthy. You couldn't catch the ball. You was running the wrong routes. You know, you was doing all this stuff, and then you turn around and say, "Oh, the Saints put me in the box." No, you put yourself in the box. They seen you couldn't catch. They seen you couldn't block. They seen you ain't know what the hell you was doing out there. And now you're gonna go run to Peyton, thinking Peyton could be the one to save you. Well, I'll tell you, man. I'll tell you, these people are really something, man. They really something when they come down to it. Now, anyway, the fish man, he says it was he 26 years old. He still feels like he got a lot off. He says he was like, "Are you serious? You know, you're just a few days into freshman camp." Trautman said, "I told him I'm just offering it up. You don't have to do it. I'm willing to do it." And he was talking about when he went to the offensive coordinator with suggestions, he would be willing to switch to tight end. This is when he was in college. He was just kind of going back over it. But remember, Trautman was given the best of both worlds. The Saints put him and gave him Jared Cook as a veteran tight end to teach him. He learned from behind Jared Cook. There was Garrett Griffin there as well. And he says Trautman did start against the Broncos in the infamous game where all 4 Broncos quarterbacks were declared, ineligible or out because of the C-19. And they had practice squad player Hinton became the emergency quarterback. And we just beat the hell out of the Broncos that game. That was really messed up. Peyton went on to 4 corners game plan, rushing the ball 44 times and just 16 passes. The Saints still romped them 31-3 against the hopeless Broncos. Trautman, remember, he says, we were about to touch down, and that's when you get the call, blah, blah, blah. When we were landing, he saw that they didn't have a quarterback and blah, blah, blah. He says, once we got ahead, we were all like, whatever. I don't much want to hear from him anymore. But anyway, the Saints got the trade. The Broncos, who now have Peyton as their head coach, an alliance whose head coach, Dan Campbell, was the tight ends coach in 2020, Trautman's preferred teams this offseason. Saints didn't want to lose him, but agreed to move him if a deal could be worked out. These were talks with the Broncos around the start of the free agent period, but they fizzled out. So this was ongoing. Now, listen, that was really something because I didn't hear nothing about talks of them trying to trade Trautman. Did you guys hear that? Did you hear that? Y'all put that in the comment section because I didn't hear that. They just said here the Saints were looking after the trade period. This has been going on. The Saints didn't want to lose him, but agreed to move him if a deal could be worked out. There were talks with the Broncos around the start of the free agent period, but it fizzled out. Talks remained dormant through the first days of the week. This draft among the circle of potential players, the Broncos had hoped to be available as the draft fell close to the 67, 68 overall picks in the 3rd round were just tight end Sam Laporta, Oregon State's Luke Musgrave, and Michigan's Luke Schoonmaker. All 3 tight ends were drafted in the 2nd round, too far from the Broncos. Saturday morning, Peyton and general manager George Patton started thinking again about Trautman. It was sometime during the 5th round when 4 tight ends went off the board before the Broncos' next pick in the 6th round. Denver called the Saints to try and strike a deal. The Lions were also in it for Trautman, but it wound up going to the Broncos, along with the Saints' 257 pick near the end of the 7th round in exchange for the number 195 pick in the 6th round. The number 257 pick the Broncos got in the throw-in with Trautman turned out to be Oregon center Alex Forsythe. So they say it's a literal an hour before it happened. My agent called me, and this is Trautman talking, and said, this is real. These guys want to do it. We talked some more about the situation and what was best for me, and we ultimately said, yeah, absolutely, we're willing to go through it, blah, 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 blah. You suck. And this is the type of stuff. See, you give these guys an opportunity, and then they blame you. That's why this guy ain't going to ever be nothing. The Saints took a chance on this guy and even tried to keep him in there. The reason why you didn't get the job is not because of anything they were doing. It was because of you. They're not going to put somebody out there that don't know what they're doing. Come on. You got beat out once. That's so interesting. The guy gets beat out by a guy who wasn't even playing tight end. He was a wide receiver. He was at the back of the depth chart, so much so that they had to switch his position, which was a great move, by the way, to tight end. And then he was at the back. The guy was at the back of the wide receiver room when they switched his position in the 2nd year. Then he was at the back of the tight end room when he made the switch. And what's his face? Trautman was up there at 1 or 2, whatever. And then about the third year, Trautman's the starter. I mean, Juwan Johnson's the starter and Trautman's his backup. That's why he ain't gonna never be. You gotta take responsibility for your own crap, man. That's bad. And Sean Payton could have that sucker for that. What a chump that dude is, man. Saints put all that. I don't like that. Saints undrafted rookie free agent tracker. Shout out to the Saints News Network for this one, John Hendricks. The draft is over, and now scouting departments are going to be on full display with the ability to find the next undrafted rookie talent. New Orleans has a plenty stellar track history with this process. And last year was another prime example when they're finding Rashid Shaheed from Weber State. Here's our tracker for 2023. So it keeps an eye out on the Saints undrafted rookie class. We covered this on yesterday's show when we talked about Blake Group A, a kicker from Notre Dame, Joel Wilson, the tight end from Central Michigan. As you can see, the money behind it, 90 grand guaranteed. Anthony Orji, the linebacker from Vanderbilt, 100 plus tackles, 226 grand guaranteed. Shaq Davis, the 6'4" wide receiver from South Carolina State, 216 guaranteed. Nick Anderson, the 5'11", 225-pound, 100-plus tackle linebacker from Tulane with 25 guaranteed. Mark Evans II, offensive lineman, mostly a guard, coming into this game from Arkansas Pine Bluff. Alex Fieldstrom, the center from Illinois, he got 60 grand. Sharadrick Thompson, running back from Texas Tech. Look out for that kid. Look out for Sharadrick Thompson. I was looking at film on this guy. Watch out for this guy, I'm telling you. Cy Barnett, wide receiver from Davenport. Lou Hetley, the punter from Miami. Anthony Johnson, the defensive back from Virginia. And Jaron Cage, the big defensive tackle from Ohio State, from the Ohio State, right? So the Saints get that Ohio State guy anyway, post-Payton. Anyway, and then this is the rookie tryouts for the family members that want to know the Saints. Those were some of the guys the Saints picked up for the undrafted. Here are some of the rookie tryouts and mini camp invites that will be coming up in a couple of weeks. Jamal Turner, tight end from Toledo, who also has a tryout with the Chiefs. Darius Nash, a defensive back from Utah Tech. Austin Stidham, offensive lineman from Troy. Gunnar Henderson, wide receiver from TCU. Chris Ojo, linebacker from New Mexico State. Deshaun Young, wide receiver from Weber. Adonis Boone, offensive lineman from Louisville. And another kicker, Joseph Belovas, kicker from Vanderbilt. So there you go. So the Saints bringing some guys in. That's a lot of kickers, man. I mean, the Saints, boy, what did they try? That's a lot of kickers the Saints have brought in, to be honest with you. That's a lot of kickers. A lot of kickers, man. Trying out a lot. What are they saying here? One kicker to try out, like you had, Group A, the kicker from Notre Dame. You already have Alex Quavito. They signed him as a future signing last year to compete with Will Lutz. And we know the Saints have access to all of these guys' injury reports, like in the deep, the real information, like what's really going on, And the drop from where it was an 82% accuracy as a field goal kicker to somewhere around 74% was just really strange. Really strange. I don't know. The thing is, listen, bro, they can have that guy. Listen, anybody that does that, because the Saints really, truly, the Saints didn't do that man a damn thing. If they did, I would have pinpointed and said, you know what, that's not right. I'd have called it out. But Trautman quit on the Saints, and the Saints ain't quit on none of those guys. They didn't quit on Trautman, who's been under working since he's been here as the Saints. You can't tell me Trautman is taking the game serious since he's been here. You can't tell me that. You can't tell me that they were giving him every advantage to be a starting tight end in the league. When Jared Cook left, they was trying to hand him the keys to the bus. He ain't want it. We got hurt. That's not on him. But as a guy that high, you got to work hard. You going to tell me Trautman was the first guy in the building and the last guy to leave? Don't sound like it. Guys that know they work hard don't sit up here and say that that the Saints put me in a box. You don't even hear Jameis Winston talking like that, and the Saints really did put him in the box. You don't hear him talking like that. But Adam Trautman gave up on the Saints, and we don't need quitters like Adam Trautman. Trautman is a quitter, and he ain't going to be crap for the Broncos. Watch, because a guy that has that bull crap mentality is never going to be worth anything. You got to own it, man. No matter what it is, nobody's perfect. That's the only way we get better. You can't run from errors and problems. You can't run from them. You got to face it up. You got to man up. You got to woman up, whatever you want, whatever applies, and you got to handle the business. That's the bottom line. Or in the wise words of Mystical, handle your business. Don't let your business handle you. And I'm going to tell you, when you let your business handle you, it handles you in the worst way possible. The majority of the time. That's why I tell them, handle your business. Don't let your business handle you. The Trautman, the fish man, he didn't handle his business. He just making up excuses, and I'm glad he's gone because he's a quitter. We don't need rotten, stinking quitters like Adam Trautman hanging around here. He can go. All right, anyway, and this is Jaron Cage. This is from the Saints website. They talk about, and they reported on them picking up this offensive lineman. I mean, not Dolphin, defensive lineman, Jaron Cage. That's right, Brian. He's a bum. He's a bum, I tell you. He's a bum. He's soft. Yes, Gundam, shout out. Trautman, man, he deserved all of that, man. Got up on there and went out there and started talking crazy like that about the Saints, and the Saints gave that dude every advantage that you can make. Only I ain't gonna say a bum would, but only a player that doesn't apply himself 100% would allow a guy who wasn't even at his position when he was drafted, had to learn the position, and then set at the back of the position group and then shot past it. I mean, he had Juwan Johnson was sitting behind Nick, what's his name? What's the garbage time? Vanette, the tight end we had. Remember that? See, I remember all of that crap. Juwan Johnson needs to be given every positive accolade you can come up with, bro. For real. Juwan Johnson handled it like a person's supposed to handle it. He didn't cry and complain when he was the last man in the wide receiver room. He didn't complain when he was the last man in the tight end room, sitting behind Nick Vanette garbage ass. And then next thing you know, the man shoots past Fishman, gets the starting job. The Saints give him the money. He's the starting tight end, and now Trautman's butt hurt. Come on, man. You sit up here complaining, they put me in the box. They put me in the box. Man, dude. Anyway, y'all Broncos, y'all can have that garbage. Jaron Cage, 6'2", 307-pound defensive tackle from Ohio State, played in 42 games over the course of 5 seasons. 2018 to 2022 from Ohio State, started 5 times, including 3 contests as a senior. In 2022, the Cincinnati, Ohio native finished with a career total of 33 tackles, 9 tackles for a loss, and 3 sacks. In 2022, he played 12 games for the Buckeyes with 3 starts and posted 12 tackles, 5 solo, and 2.5 stops for loss. In 21, he appeared in 11 contests with 3 starts and had finished with 10 tackles, 4 solo, and 1 takedown. This is the next guy that the Saints have added to the interior defensive line. So, not bad, huh? Not bad at all for the black and gold, man. You got to give all the credit in the world to what they're attempting to do. That explains why I got my Saints hat on right now. Now, that's about as much support as I'm going to lend to them right now, because y'all know I ain't wore this hat in a long time, man, but it been sitting there. But I decided, you know what, y'all, they showing me some stuff, but I'm still in my Glenn, whatchamacallit, mine, and you know, I'm still waiting, you know, and like I said, fam, they gonna have to still show me. It's mostly Dennis Allen. I'm still in my mind on Dennis Allen. He got to wake up and he got to handle the business. So Anyway, this is just more of the same, man. You know what the black and gold are doing, and it's very positive. Like I got to give him credit. All right, so let's move on, family. As this a new guy bringing in. Okay, this is coming directly from the Saints Wire. Upcoming NFL trade deadline could spur new wave of free agents coming at you. All right, do tell. 23 draft is over with. There's an NFL deadline coming at 3 p.m. Eastern time, or what is Central time, 4 p.m. And that's today, at which point veteran free agent signings will no longer count into the formula for compensatory picks for the 24 draft. That means the Saints could turn their attention to the veteran market and plug some of their remaining holes after the draft without jeopardizing future draft picks. That's the approach they took in previous years by waiting to sign big name free agents like Tyrann Mathieu, Jameis Winston, and the pattern could repeat itself. New Orleans is projected to receive a pair of compensatory fourth rounders and a sixth round pick in 2024. We've already highlighted some positions of need, possible targets at tight end, linebacker, and along the defensive line, but things are wide open. We can see the Saints target another wide receiver or better offensive line depth. They've made the secondary a priority and could go looking for more help on the back end if the price makes sense. After signing their rookie draft class and undrafted free agents, New Orleans is estimated to have about $11 million to throw around, which ranks inside the top 10 around the league. Now, Spotrac has it set at about 16 mil. That's what Spotrac has it as, 16.8 last time. I didn't check over the cap. Give me a second, fam. Let me do some quick research here. And give me a second here. Hold on. Give me just a second. Let me get my over the cap here. Sometimes the figures are a little different. So give me a second. Let me check what they said, because I just checked what Spotrac is saying. Saints at 16.8. Let me see what over the cap is saying. Over cap is saying 14. They're saying 14.4. So they're a little off by a couple million there. But over the tragedy, that's the they're saying 14.4 for over the cap, and Spotrac saying 16.8. So between 14 and $16 million is where they're saying. So there it is. So anyway, that's still a good bit of money. You sign and that should be the next thing you hear in the next couple of weeks. The Saints are going to sign their draft picks, get them under contract, and then ultimately you'll see the Saints delve in and reach in and maybe pick up a veteran or two, that if the cost is correct. Now, the great thing about it is the Saints had a solid draft where they don't have to too much worry about going to all these different places. Hold on, let me get my depth chart up here. Give me a second, fam. Let me get my depth chart up here. I thought I had it up here. Give me just a second here. Let me see. Get my depth chart up here so we can see what's shaking and baking here. All right. Because a lot of what we've seen. All right. Yeah, because a lot of what we were seeing from the Saints in terms of what we need, and Fowler was saying, we could use a linebacker, we can use this, we can use that. And this is the unofficial. Now, this is unofficial, like I said, fam. Y'all hit the like button. Over 200 of us in the building. Please hit the like button. Hit the like button and share the show on your social media feed. Shout out to Big Sean, Tedra, Kai, Nola Bars, Brother David, Brother Tim. Shout out to you guys. Appreciate you being in the stream. Gundam. Shout out to Brother Gundam, Seth, Alpha Sports. Good to see you. Much love to you guys. Dre Day, big ups. Everybody, man. My brother Slim in this thing. Shout out to you, bro. Travis, I see you, fam. Brother Rose in this thing. Everybody, man. Much love to y'all, man. Appreciate y'all. All right, super chat, man, to a brother Trevon. Says, I don't know, Trautman didn't go out and complain about his role when he didn't even want to use his hands. He was keeping those strictly for decoration. There you go, Trevon. Shout out to you, brother. Appreciate you on that. Shout out. Yeah, that's real comical when we hear this type of rhetoric, and I'm like, are you kidding? The Saints gave this. This is an entitled person. This is a big entitled baby, a 6'5", 250-pound baby. That's what he is, out here crying that the Saints didn't give him an opportunity. That is simply not the truth. A lot of people didn't want to see Trautman out there because they knew they couldn't count on him. He was dropping passes, missing blocks. He was hurt. You know, the Saints gave him every remember, they got rid of Nick Vannett and then slid him up. You know, Vannett was supposed to be the veteran of the room. All this, it's just a big entitled chump, you know, and that guy ain't gonna be worth nothing at all, man. But anyway, going forward, and this is the unofficial depth chart right here. You can see a lot of they've added quite a few people here, and I think this is about everybody. Saints are very look for Will Lutz. They got 2 guys in the building. Yeah, Alex Quevedo and Blake Grupe, and then the extra guy they bringing in to try out. That's 3 kickers to try out against Will Lutz. I'm like, damn, something's up with that, fam. I'm just throwing that out there. Anyway, if you take a look at what the Saints are doing from an interior perspective, because the biggest point of emphasis, are we done? Do you guys feel? Let me throw a couple of questions out to the Who Dat Nation. Please engage. Please engage. Number 1 question. Shout out, Trine. What's up, bro? Shout out to you, man. Please engage. Question number 1 for the family members is, are we done with the defensive line? Hit the chat up. Let me know. I will spotlight your comment. Put that in the chat. Are we done with the interior defensive line? Are we satisfied with what we have at the interior defensive line? Right now, this is unofficial. And I know you see that they have Brian Barisi at the right defensive tackle position and Nate Shepard there and Colin Sanders as a backup. This is unofficial, so that's obviously not how it's going to go, in my opinion. But let's say, for looking at the interior defensive line, Nate Shepard, Brian Barisi, Colin Sanders, Malcolm Roach, and then the rest of the guys are practice squad players like Jaron Cage, Prince Emili, Tano Passanio could be a guy that could be thrown in there. Are we good? Okay, family saying no. Nope. 1 more veteran. All right. Slim says nope. D-line and free agency. JT says no. No Mo. All right. Eric says no. All right. Says make a pitch to Frank Clark. All right. All right. All right. No, and no. All right. Thank you, OG. All right. Next question. Please engage. Queens are included. I want to hear from my queens. Next question. I know we're not done with the linebacker position. Who do you like at the linebacker position? If you was the general manager, you was Mickey Loomis, you know, and you had the direct communication to Mickey Loomis, and Mickey pops up here and he says, how you doing? What's going on, guys? I see you talking. Let me pop in here and talk to you. Let me talk to you guys. So if you had an opportunity to talk to this guy after he finished eating his clam chowder and drinking his orange juice, and you said to him, hey, Mickey, you know, and he would listen to you, who would you tell him to get 1 choice at the linebacker position? 1 choice at the linebacker position, who would it be? Who would it be? Who would it be? Trey says Deion Jones. G. Reese says, okay, Deion Jones. Okay. I'm with Wallace with this one. Quan Alexander. Deion Jones, I think Deion is going to cost more than what the Saints are willing to give. But then again, they can work that funny money, can't they? Trayvon says we should look at Deion Jones, honestly, or bring Quan back. Okay, you're in both rooms. All right, JT says he like DeMarco Jackson and DeMario. Pat Queen, how about Jermaine with that? Miles Jack. All right. Pat Willis. Quan is available, Pammy. He is indeed. All right, says Miles for sure. Okay. Quan says Brother Slim. All right, Eric says Deion. Jay Hunt, what's up, Jay? So we may bring in another linebacker, but it's not a real priority. We have the kid from last year. Yeah, DeMarco Jackson. Yes. I don't know. Pat Queen is that one. I don't think that's a reality, bro. No, Ro, we're not looking at Manti Te'o. No, sir. No. He way past his prime. Saints for life. Shout out to you. Not Quine or Jones. These guys are injury prone. Look for vet, either eds, as free or trade. But Saints for life. Let me throw this at you. Quine Alexander wasn't injured last year. Did you know that? He played in 6 games with the Jets last year. I looked it up. I remember a guy wrote an article from the Jets. It came across my feed some kind of way. I must have meant to see it. And it talked about Quine Alexander. He played 16 games last year for the Jets and started 10 of them, had 60 plus tackles. That was the first time since his second year that he did it. Now, he cost him 1 year at $1.2 million. Total doable for the Saints. They can do that. They can pay a cheap contract, and he knows your system. Deion Jones is a player, but I don't think Deion Jones is going to work for no $1 million or $2 million. Deion Jones wants to get paid. So, and then really the Saints, and you got to remember when we thinking about this, the Saints, you got to think about it like how the Saints are thinking about it. That Pete Werner is their starter. They love Pete Werner. They love DeMario Davis. And they see those guys as the starters right now. If you bring Deion Jones in here, Deion Jones ain't going to sit behind no Pete Werner. Quine will, if you give him a meal. But once again, it all ties to what the Saints see, because they got other guys they're looking at. They thinking Zach Bourne can have a Caden Ellis style year. I don't know. DeMarco Jackson, I don't know. I like him during college, but he got a long way to go, just like most of these linebackers do. I don't know. We'll see. I'm with the Quine thing because it's a smaller curve, a learning curve for him with this defense. He's been here before. He can play it. If Zach Bourne fails, it's another thing. Third and final question about the tight end room, because I'm pretty sure you guys all agree that tight end is still a focus for it. Which tight end do you guys want to bring in here? Are you cool with Foster Monroe, or do we go for more? You guys let me know. What do you think? Throw that out there. What tight end do you guys like? Put that in the chat. Now I'll spotlight it. Eric Wilson is on. He out there. He's under contract with the Green Bay Packers, bro. I know. They shouldn't have left him. Shouldn't have let him get pilfered. They let him get pilfered by the Packers last year, and it's crazy. All right, Quavadia says I'm cool with either one of these options. I like Cameron Brate. I like Cameron Brate, to be honest with you. Ebron, Eric. Okay. Eric Ebron. Okay. Jay Huntsberry said should have took a tight end from the Broncos. We don't got it. I mean, they don't have nothing you want, bro. Trust me. Rose says, go get, oh, Lord, Dan Arnold. No. All right. Hell no, Jamal Amal. Aaron Hernandez, bro, he is gone. He on the other side of this thing. All right. Rich says he loved Foster. Yeah, I like Foster too, bro. I think something's up with that. I think the Saints, this not a bad one too. Alpha, that's not a bad choice, Jesse James. Remember, he was linked to the Saints before, a couple of years ago, he was linked to the Saints and it never materialized. Yeah. Demetrius says, Juice Boys for go get Quine back. Yeah, it makes sense to me, but we'll see how it all hatches. But it's something about, as far as the tight end goes, it's something about that. About Foster Monroe. I think the Saints are going to end up keeping him. Anyway, fam, before I leave, let me play one last video from you. And this is coming from people from CBS Sports. They're going to tell you, baby, what they think about your draft. They're going to tell you what grade the Saints got for their draft. They're going to tell you. Now, I like the Saints draft. My brother KT chimed in. He said he liked the Saints draft except for the quarterback pick. Cool. I gave the Saints draft a B. Now, that's not from production. That's from a need standpoint, because that's all we have right now to go off of. Of course, this could change. This could definitely turn and look a little different. But we shall see how it all is cycle and how it'll all look in the end anyway. But this is what they had to say about y'all's draft. Now, I gave it a strong B. I think B+, B, a strong B. Let's listen to what they had to say.
But not least. well, maybe least, the New Orleans Saints here gave them a C. Explain yourself with that. Why do they deserve a C in this draft?
And it's worth noting, like the Saints and I don't typically see eye to eye in the draft process. Typically, they do better than what I think they end up doing, so that's probably more on me than on them. That said, the Brian Brzee pick, I understand. They needed help in the interior. He had a tough season last year, both on and off the field, and I think his best football is ahead of him. He dealt with some family tragedy, so I'm not going to hold anything that happened to him last year against him, but he is a former five-star and absolutely twitched up when he's on his game. Isaiah Foskey looks the part. He's a converted tight end, so he's still sort of learning the position. I thought Kendra Miller probably went around early. A.T. Perry, while he ran fast during the pre-draft process in the 4.4s, he didn't quite play that fast. But I get the Jake Haener pick at quarterback, and I love the Howden pick out of Minnesota. I think he has a chance to contribute right away as well.
You and Pete off on this one. You gave them a C. Prisco gave them a B. So we know Pete Prisco's article is out on CBSSports.com. All of his draft grades. Yours is coming out later on tomorrow. So who was the most impressive?
All right, so you get a C. They give you a C. They give you a C, fam. You get a C. You get a C. How about that? All right, and this, before I go, let me show y'all this, man. The 2020 draft, that's where Adam Trautman came from, right? This is how it all stacked up, the 2020 draft, right? First round pick, Saints selected Ruiz, Cesar Ruiz in that draft. They currently refused his fifth-year option commonsensically. They don't want to pay him. They don't think he's worth $14 million. They could work it back and rework a contract with him. Black and Gold traded the 56th overall pick before selecting Zach Bowen with the 74th pick, right? Zach Bowen. In order to draft Bowen with the 74th pick, the Saints traded away the 88th selection, right? Multiple picks to go and get Zach Bowen in 2020. Trautman was drafted with the 105th selection. And with their final pick of the 2020 draft, the Saints selected Stevens out of Mississippi State. Remember him? Stevens is the only member of the draft class that didn't make the team. That was the quarterback prospect the Saints tried to turn into a Taysom Hill type dude. Remember him? The 2020 draft. Cheryl, that I don't know if Austin Hooper is available, Queen. I'm gonna have to look that up. I don't know if he's available. I think he might be on another team. But anyway, this is the 2020 draft. Cesar Ruiz, Zach Bowen, Adam Trautman. That draft ain't shaking up too hot, is it, family? It ain't shaking up too hot. It's not shaking up too hot. Zach Bowen, third round pick, yet to do anything. Played in 45 games, 48 tackles. No sacks for Zach Bowen. That draft ain't turned out to be pretty good at all, fam. Not at all. Not at all. That wasn't a good one, man. I'm going to be honest with you. That wasn't a good draft for us. But anyway, let's do a quick recap, fam. Saints decided not to pick up the fifth-year option for Cesar Ruiz, and rightfully so. I mean, $14 million is a lot of money in his fifth year, and he most certainly, to the Saints, are not worth that. Once again, the option is they could come back later on in the year and try to work out something with him. We'll see. A lot of our offensive linemen touching down in free agency next year, so the Saints are bound to keep somebody, maybe a couple of these guys. We'll see. We also went over and played some of Cam's interview, his thoughts on Saints defensive linemen going to rivals. We covered that. We gave the grades from CBS. They thought you guys got a C in the draft. How about that? We also covered the fact that Trautman was talking crap about the Saints organization, talking about they kept him in the box and they ain't let him do this and that and the third. Complete balderdash. We also went over the rookie tracker. A shout out to the Saints News Network. We did a good job of keeping this stuff cataloged for us. As you see, the undrafted rookie class this year, along with rookie tryouts. We went over both lists. And we also covered the sport track numbers for the Saints and the over-the-cap numbers in terms of how much money is left. We covered Jaron Cage, the newest interior defensive lineman for the Saints. Did quite a few things, haven't we, family, today, you know? talked about a few things. So with that being said, that's going to be the end of the stream. Please feel free, family, to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Okay, he's in Las Vegas. Okay, I thought I seen him on somebody's list somewhere. I hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and the share button. Fam, feel free to share the show on your social media feed as well. We'll return tomorrow, Patreon Tuesday, for our Patreon champions. We're gonna cover some other Saints news and stuff that's going on for Tuesday. A lot of stuff shaking and baking right now for the black and gold. And for the family members, please feel free to support the stream by way of supporting the sponsors. Outlaw Products, a small company that produces a lot of natural body products, all natural, no chemicals, no metals, none of that crap in it. You can feel free to check them out. Their link is in the description section. Also, ExpressVPN for protection. When you're surfing around, trust me, you need that. And these VPN plans that they offer are pretty inexpensive, man. So you do yourself well. And they add that to your phone, to your computer devices, the stuff your children have. Man, listen, we are all wired in this thing. We got to protect ourselves. So VPN's another great way of doing it. You can sign up with them and get 3 months off by hitting a link attached to the platform. Those are fantastic sponsors. They help us out and to keep things going. And shout out to our Patreon champions and our YouTube membership family. If y'all guys want to become one of them, you can feel free to check out the information. There's a link tree in the description section. It gives you information where you can go there and join the platform. We got a lot of great things going on. Also, feel free to check out protv1.com. That's our new portal for content creators, and we constantly signing up people. We got more people coming on to the platform. ProTV1. That's ProTV1.com. We created that portal because it's our way as a community of giving content creators an opportunity to be seen. Like I've said before, when I first started, it was just us, and we had to kind of trailblaze it a bit. Now it's kind of a thing where everybody's all over the place. And once again, ain't no need to, it's no such thing as competition in this space. We all talking the same thing, and the same people are listening to the same stuff. So I do a kind of get everybody together under one banner, and we move forward. That's the way this thing is done. If you look across other spaces, it's the same way. So you can check out protv1one.com as well, and the whothatdaily.com, which is our stuff we're on. We're looking for writers. We put up the banners and advertisers for content writers and content creators of basketball, football. If you're a guy or a gal that's into that kind of stuff, you can sign up, man, or go to the link that's in the community section, or go to whothatdaily.com. I think that's a banner there, the whothatdaily.com. Check that out. And plus merch and all that stuff is in the link. So we climbing, we building, man. We doing great things. That's right. Pro Cafe, Brother Torre, is also available. That's our 24/7 lo-fi channel. Pro Cafe, man, is going down, baby. Music to listen to, music to live by is what it's called, where it's themed, where they got a lot of really great music, laid back music you can listen to, man. It's called Pro Cafe, man. It's on YouTube. Matter of fact, you can check out the platform at the very bottom of this page. You can see a list of family of YouTube channels. All of that's there. Tough Tiger Talk, Pro Pelican Post Game Report, Ring Kings Boxing, Pro Cafe, TSC Unleashed. I don't know how many. There's so many of them. The platform is huge. So with that being said, man, I'm going to get out on that. I appreciate the family members for chiming in, man. We're going to holler at my Patreon family members on Tuesday, my YouTube membership family on Tuesday. And for the rest of the family members, I'll be back on Wednesday with more Saints Talk. Much love to the fam. Who that? I'm out.
Yeah. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Long as I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. Sports coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, 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 huh? Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Sports coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like Elf. I thank God every day I'm not a felt. Go to YouTube Live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your shame for the championship. Bucking on town, duck down. Falcons, pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy and you probably smell the crooked referees or Roger Goodell. Yeah, probably like this and I'm a who that. Every day I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. It's the sports coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that at. Where we do that at. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that at. Boogie like this and I'm a who that. It's the sports coma, this is where we do that.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
This video is sponsored by ExpressVPN. Sending data over an encrypted internet connection is like sending a postcard that everybody can see. When you're connected to an unencrypted network, whether that's your phone, your computer, your tablet, your TV, etc., you're sending countless of pieces of really precious data that can be seen or intercepted by all sort of parties before it reaches its intended destination. But a VPN or a virtual private network creates a secure tunnel between your device and the internet. In other words, it puts an envelope around your postcard so they can't sneak a peek at your private correspondence. The ExpressVPN protects you from spies who use your data for their own nefarious purposes. ExpressVPN prevents your ISP from seeing your private browsing activity. It also stops governments and large corporations and websites that constantly surveil you and harvest your data for their own agendas. ExpressVPN gives you unrestricted access to all parts of the internet, so you can watch shows in other countries and even get certain discounts. So to get ExpressVPN, just click the link below. When you use the Pelican Post-Scan Report, you get 3 months free of ExpressVPN. Hit the link now and get connected.
TheWhoThatDaily.com. That's right, TheWhoThatDaily.com. Your one-stop shop for everything New Orleans Saints, New Orleans Pelicans, LSU Tigers, even the top flight boxing news. So if you're a Who That and you're looking for a place to stay up on your team, TheWhoThatDaily.com is your site. TheWhoThatDaily.com for the sport Who That in all of us. Check out the Pro Shop. That's right, the Pro Shop is the platform store where you can go and buy all the latest merch to support the platform. Available at the Pro Shops, we have dozens of hundreds of products available for you and your family. Unisex tees for men and women, hoodies and sweatshirts, tank tops, kids and baby items, long sleeve tees, mugs, pillows, wall art, bath bedding, face masks, phone cases, stickers, bags, fanny packs, socks, hats, and many other items. Please feel free to check out the Pro Shops. The link is in the description section below.